Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, brought to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. It's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
There. How we doing on this fine-ass Tuesday?
If you want an honest answer, not so great.
Not so great? Pourquoi?
No. I don't know. Just having
Goldberg getting you down?
a lot of anxiety today.
A lot of anxiety. That sucks.
Yeah. So it's just one of those days, you know?
Just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. No, Fred Durst. He was on. Did you see him over the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
His gray-ass beard. Love it.
Yeah.
We had a fun weekend of wrestling that we will talk all about Thursday this week on the Super Show. But for now, we will be talking about Raw and the fallout from certain events this weekend. I want to say before we hear from the peeps and talk about Raw, I watched 2.5 wrestling shows over the weekend. The all-women's one was my favorite so far.
Yeah.
Everything I saw.
Okay, so I agree. I think from top to bottom, Evolution was good. And I think there is an argument to be made that it was probably the best PLE WWE has put on, again, from top to bottom all year. And what kind of frustrates me about that, I guess, is just the way that Triple H responded in the in the press conference, because he was just like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna do Evolution every year, like the women don't need to have it, basically, or like they just showed you that they can be the main event, like they'll get their chance and blah blah blah, just acting as if like Evolution shouldn't be something that they do because the women are treated equally and whatever. And I'm like, this is not the way to go about it after you just had a killer show. Like, this is not the women have been fighting for 7 years to get another show, and your immediate reaction is like, I don't know if we're going to do it every year because like they don't really need it. What?
It's very weird.
They do. Yeah, they do. Did you hear that crowd? That was one of, like, he even said that was probably the best US crowd that they've had all year. What does that tell you? And it was an all women's show. It wasn't you were in France, and so the crowd was super into it. No, that was in Atlanta, and they were going ham the entire night. So I just didn't really like that, because I feel like they put on too good of a show to then like follow it up and be like, oh yeah, I don't know if we'll do this every year. It's like, no, that should be a staple every year. You force war games on us every single year. That's something that we don't need every year. You can do Survivor Series every year, but you don't need war games every year, because then you're like forcing yourself into creating the war games match. But like Evolution, it would be cool if they did it every year, because the women's division is only getting stronger and it's only getting bigger. I mean, look at the talent that they have in NXT.
They have a better women's roster than Raw does at the moment.
They have the women's division, you could almost argue, is better than the men's roster in general in WWE right now.
It's getting close to that point. I don't know if I'd go that far, but
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it could almost be an argument. So I just didn't like his immediate reaction, because I felt like you're proving why people feel like they do need it. Because the thing that I was saying is, he was like, oh, it's an equal opportunity thing. No, it's not. You will never ever have the women main event night 2 of Mania. He will never do that, because the thing is it doesn't matter if you have the main event night 1. It's not the same. Everybody wants to main event night 2 because that's what people really consider the main event.
I still
So
think
it's
it's
like,
an honor.
huh?
I
I'm
think
not saying
still
it's not, but I'm saying like the ultimate goal would be to main event night 2 because that's still considered like the bigger night, and that's why like certain matches are put on night 2. So I just don't see that happening. So for him to come out and be like it's an equal opportunity, no, it's not, because that's not going to happen. So I don't know. I would like for him to rethink that mentality because I wasn't a fan. And it's so weird to me because Triple H was such a champion for women in NXT Black and Gold. Like, such a champion. I mean, there's a reason why there's the 4 horsewomen and Paige and whatever, that all came out of NXT, and now it's like he's doing stuff that doesn't live up to that. So it's kind of disappointing.
Dickie's saying apparently some women backstage. He thinks it's Becky. We're not saying it's actually her. So that Evolution isn't needed, just more women's matches on episodic TV. Feels like Evolution won't be as special if it's a yearly thing.
We're not. I don't want to throw Becky under the bus because that seems kind of targeted. But but the thing is like, why do we need it to be special? You know what I mean? That's still, you're still, to me, you're proving the point that you still don't view women equally. If we need it to feel special, why can't it just be a part of the regular rotation? Because they've earned that. There are PLEs that have all men on it and not a single women's match. So, I mean, didn't they just have Saturday Night's Main Event? There was no women on it. Like,
it was 4 matches.
And I get it. Evolution was the next day, but there were women who weren't on Evolution that very easily could have been at Saturday Night's Main Event, and you didn't do that. So that's the thing, is like, you have PLEs with no women's matches. Why can't the women have one PLE a year? Especially based on how good this one did. Why not? What's the problem?
I don't know. I'm for it. Listen, I don't care who's on the card. I don't care what show it is. As long as it's quality pro wrestling, I'm for it. And that's what we saw this weekend from Evolution. It was fantastic top to bottom. Saturday night's main event was what it was supposed to be, in my opinion. It just felt like it was very hunky-dory. Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
no.
It felt very old school. It felt very like it was.
Well,
no, that's fine. It is what it is. But that's a tight, like, all weekend, it felt like with every event, it was a little bit different with the feel of it. I mean, starting, you have the NXT Great American Bash. It just felt like they were another step, establishing NXT as their own brand. You have Saturday's main event, which felt like it was just more network television wrestling to get the big names, to get Jelly Roll's involvement into SummerSlam, to get, exposure, all that fun stuff that I don't need to explain to the common wrestling fan. And then Evolution felt like this was for the WWE fan who's also a wrestling fan. It gave them quality matches, great storytelling, not only in the ring, but leading up to said matches. It had a surprise shock at the main event with Naomi cashing in. It had a little bit of everything that it got us on our feet. Yes, it was a little deflating to hear Triple H say stuff like that. However, Triple H is known for saying comments in the media like that to really throw them off their rails. We're very familiar with this with Belichick. Like, he'll just say shit. And you're like, what? Like, that doesn't line up to what you're saying, but it's just.
The thing is, though, is like Triple H is making this a bad habit. It's like he just keeps doing it after these PLEs, or he goes out there and I'm like, why are you saying this right now? Like, why?
It's just bad time. I understand. He doesn't like to get over excited about the moment. It is, it's his style, not ours. We're here to
I
cheer
believe
for
this. I 100% believe this. He needs media training. It's just like, just stop. Because there are, usually he's out there, he's hyping up the show and talking about how much money they made and how great this was and how great that was. And then he's out there being like, yeah, we just saw one of the greatest women's matches of all time. Yeah, the women were crying because they were so proud of themselves and just like so overwhelmed and
See them
whatever.
partying on
But
the
we don't
bus?
really need to do this anymore. Like, what are you what? Like, what are you talking about? It was like, I even was like getting emotional just like watching the show because it was so good. And it was like, as somebody who grew up watching wrestling, you know, from 1999, having to sit there and watch bra and panties matches or like jello pool matches, you know, like
Yeah,
stupid
the
shit like
mud
that.
wrestling.
Yeah, like watching that and just seeing how like some of my favorite wrestlers right now are women. It's like they've come so far. And it's like the video package that they showed before the show began with like these little girls playing with their women's wrestling action figures and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's like, how does that not give
How does
you
that not
that
make you feel?
feeling that you're like, we
Mhm.
should do this every year because it is important for little girls and little boys to see like how far this women's division has come and to feature
Yeah.
the women without there being any sort of distraction or worry about time, because it's always the women that get cut for time. It's like, why like, I don't know.
Shout out. That's
I
what we're
feel
just doing
like
right now. Yeah.
I just felt like, you know, this to me proved that they deserve to have an Evolution 3 and 4 and 5, you know, like
They should have more of them. I will agree there. You know, in my eyes, it should be a yearly thing for a bit until they get weekly episodic television for the women. You know, I feel
well, and
like
I
that's
feel
where
like we're far away
the
from that if
steering.
he doesn't even want to commit to doing Evolution.
We'll see. I
We're
don't want.
far away from that.
Let's not just like. Yeah, that's. He said no more evolution. You know. Well,
No, but what I'm saying is
I don't.
he
Stamp
doesn't
that on.
didn't want to commit or didn't want to even entertain the idea of it being an yearly thing. So to me, that means if you can't commit to one show a year, you're definitely not going to be committing to a weekly episodic program of only women. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, it's a fantastic show.
It
Shout
was
out to
great.
the women. You know, and All In, I still haven't watched all of it. I am at the triple main event. They said that it was a triple main event of Mercedes, Tony, Kenny, Okada,
It's so stupid.
and then Hangman and John Moxley. So I have yet to watch that. So, but and I'm not even paying attention with Great American Bash because there's just so much shit this weekend. I did get to watch Saturday night's main event with my nephew. That was a lot of fun. He's a very I cheer for the good guys wrestling fan. He was like, "Oh my god, Goldberg, he's awesome." It's like, "Oh, you're that type of fan. We gotta mold you to have your own opinions on people and stuff." But no, it was fun watching with him. I wish it was All In that we watch together, but one, mom's not going to allow that with the Texas Death Match as the main event. And two, do you know how long All In was?
Yeah, it was like 6 hours.
It was 6 hours. It was an old
ridiculous.
school Vince McMahon WWE
Ridiculous.
pay-per-view. Which, to be honest, though, for AEW, that works.
That was without the pre-show too.
Yeah, but AEW works.
I don't think so. I saw way more people complaining about like, oh my god, this is so long. You know what I mean?
Worse.
Like the quality of the
AEW
match.
shows.
I feel like the quality of the matches, sure, people maybe enjoyed them or whatever, but it still is difficult to sit there and watch it for that long in one sitting.
If
no matter
every
what
one of their pay-per-views were like that, I would totally agree. It's
wait,
All
I'm
In.
shocked that you don't agree with me on something.
Yeah, I mean, for this, it was All In. It was their WrestleMania, so and the amount of talent on the match card. I mean, Swerve and Ospreay taking on the Young Bucks. That's going to get time. Obviously, Omega Okada is going to get time. The main event's going to get and then they had 2 Casino Gauntlet Battle Royals, which is basically a Royal Rumble because they have set time limits when the competitors come out. But then also you can just have a random person just show up like, oh, it's not the allotted amount of time. There's no countdown. Boom, their entrance theme just hits. So it's a variant of the Royal Rumble, you would 2 of those too. Like 6 hours for that, it's not bad. If it was Revolution or Full Gear that was that long, yeah, we have something else to talk about. But I can't wait to watch the rest of All In at some point. So yeah, so let's get into it.
Well, do you want to look at the comments first?
Let's see what they were. I'm looking at them right now. Bad Guy says sup. Nathaniel watched All In. I did see Edge and Cope's reunion. Love how they initiated it with Edge saying "Go find yourself" and not. Yeah, but wouldn't you rather that though, and it continues, than just have them make up and everything's all dandy again?
I mean, I
don't
really,
hate it.
I don't care either way.
Sophia, was great seeing you too. I don't know if I'm there every month. I might be there every Monday. Depends on the season now because we're golfing. We are golfing now. I don't know about that. I said that earlier in months past that I had a thought. After last night, there's definitely some darkness inside of Bailey. She's got that look like she's about to do whatever it takes. Bernard was popping, saw your picture giving me a little update on Seth Rollins. David thinks you're so hot, Sara,
Thanks.
and that you need a hug. So
thanks,
David, go give her a hug. Thank you. What else do we got? It's nice to listen to Raquel. Okay, Raquel listened to Nash.
Oh yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. First of all, that she credited him because I haven't heard the clip of him saying it, so I'm not sure how he said it because of course he can be quite critical and people get very offended over things. Yeah,
quite blunt.
So I don't know if he said it in a more I'm trying to help you way or more of like I'm trying to critique this girl way. But she took it well regardless, and you can tell because there has been a noticeable shift in Raquel over the past 2 months that people are talking about online because she's been people were generally never looking forward to watching her in a match, but this tag match at Evolution plus her match with Rhea just a few weeks before, people were like, wow, okay, Raquel has really stepped up her game. Like that was a fantastic match. So to me, it's like she listened and she is definitely incorporating that into her repertoire now. So I'm happy for her because I think that there is a spot for her as a bigger girl on the roster. And I think she's killing it right now.
She's absolutely killing it. It's great to see her embracing the critiques. And shout out to this guy to kick things off.
Yeah.
Shout out to our mans. That dude is one bad man. That's one bad man.
I think, okay, so I know I'm biased. I'm not saying I'm not, but I don't think that he was getting enough credit from people for the fact that he had to fill 20 minutes with Goldberg because of the Seth injury. We're not going to get into whether the Seth injury is real or not. I don't believe Meltzer being like it's fake because it felt like there was too much scrambling going on and LA Knight was fucking pissed. So
he was mad that it's real. Right.
And there's no way that they would give 20 minutes to Gunther and Goldberg. That right there is like a sign of like this was a legit injury because they would not do that. But the fact that it didn't feel dragged on, it didn't feel awkward or anything. You were kind of looking at the clock being like, holy crap, like they're really going to do this? Like they're really going to go for this for 20 minutes when people were predicting less than 5. I thought that this was a good match. I thought there were some good spots in it. Didn't particularly love Goldberg laughing at the chop, but
Oh, I didn't mind that. People are
because of what he said, why he laughed. I didn't like that.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
He said that he apologized to Gunther for laughing because he said that he thought it was gonna hurt a lot more. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, just put him over. Like, nobody. Like, I'm telling you, Scott Hall said it best, where he said nobody is a bigger mark for Goldberg than Goldberg. And I'm like 100% because this dude, like, you can't even put him over. Like,
See,
that
like,
could have
I
been a
don't.
conversation between you and Gunther. You didn't have to share that with the whole world.
Yeah, like I don't mind that now I'm kind of like, all right, F you for doing it.
Yeah.
Because initially I'm just like, okay, that's Gunther showing that he's still somewhat indestructible. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the mystique of Goldberg is kind of still there. But like, after you hear that, you're just like, fuck you.
That's why I'm saying, like, in the moment, I was kind of like, okay, like,
Like,
it felt like it
whatever.
added to,
Yeah, a
like,
little
Goldberg
bit.
being like, oh, yeah, I'm not no 58-year-old man. And then when he, like, a few days later, he's like, oh, yeah, I just thought it was going to hurt a lot more. Like, shut the fuck up, brother. Shut the fuck up.
Dude,
Your chest was beat red, almost
it
bleeding
was.
by the end of the match. Did you really have to do that?
Yeah, like that. Oh, God. Like,
Yeah, piss me
okay.
off. Piss
Okay.
me off. And he broke Charles Robinson's rib. Brother.
Yeah, the memes coming out of people with like sending gifts of people like looking like I told you so, and seeing
Mhm.
Bret Hart at home like oh, just
I know.
so funny.
I would have loved if Bret Hart was like cool enough that he like literally came out with Gunther or something. That was, people were teasing that, and I was like, that would have been
That would have
hilarious.
been nice. That would have been.
It's
that
okay.
would have been
We
cool.
got that iconic moment of Bret being in the ring and him being like, my favorite wrestler was Goldberg. Like, at least we have that.
Yeah.
Iconic. Yeah, we talked about this. I mean, I get it. Like, not great. I think they were just scrambling because, like you said, of the Seth injury. But also I'm not like, it's hard for me to sympathize because I'm not a fan of Goldberg, but also like he's not a WWE legend. He's a WCW legend.
Well,
So
to
like
me
I don't
with
know that
the
WWE really
whole
owes him anything.
the whole promo thing, they could have went off the air and then gone,
To the YouTube or something.
strictly to Peacock.
Mhm.
Or the cameras keep rolling. Hey, Goldberg, we cut you off, but here's the full upload on
Yeah.
YouTube. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, Raw can be how long now? It can be 3 hours.
It can be
as
however long.
Exactly. Throw that in. Here's what Goldberg had to say after his final match. That's a segue back either into commercials or coming back from. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. There's ways to do it where WWE is not totally in the wrong. However, like, and yeah, not all in the right. But also, like Goldberg, dude, it's Saturday night's main event. Do you really like say what you want for the home crowd? But like, dude, they have Evolution, they have NXT going on too. Like,
well,
you're a priority for this show, not for the brand as a whole right now. Okay, like, chill out.
And like we said, they did release the whole thing. Okay, so they did.
So there you
But
go.
so that's the thing. Like, what are you so mad about? Like, whatever. But anyway, and I know that they bought WCW, but he still isn't a WWE legend. Like, he's not. He's not. That doesn't change history. He was in WCW. But I mean, if they put it up, then they still acknowledged like what he said and still showed it. They had a hard cut time because they were on national television. So
yeah,
I mean,
network television.
It
You
sucks,
guys
but
don't
like,
get how cutthroat network television is. You have a time you have to be off the air.
yeah.
And if you are not off the air, you are getting cut. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened on SmackDown and stuff. Like, I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But anyway,
showbiz, baby.
Going back to Evolution, we saw a fantastic main event between Io Sky and Rhea. And as this match was going, okay, I was like, okay, this is phenomenal. They're going all out. Like, these girls are proving once again, like, you cannot overlook us. We are main event worthy. I don't have the words. It was fantastic, right? And I think that the way they built it up, you kind of thought, okay, we picked Rhea because it was like they were so honed in on the fact that Rhea has never beaten Io, which, mind you, their last 5 matchups, 3 of them have happened this year. So them being like, this has been going back forever. I'm like, 3 matchups this year and 2 matchups from 5 years ago. This is not like a long-standing rivalry. But I like how the match ended with the cash-in because I really do think that Rhea never beating Io could be such a good storyline that they revisit in the future.
100%.
Very similar to Roman never beating Seth. Like, I really think that could be like something that they really go in on in the future. So the fact that then everybody was shocked, I would say, that Naomi cashed in during the match. She pulled a Seth Rollins, cashed in while the match was going. That absolves Rhea from losing technically to Io, right?
Mhm.
And doesn't mean that Io technically lost either. So now we have Naomi as the women's world champion, and she doesn't want to hear any of your love, guys. She knows about those boos. She knows that
She
you
does
were
not
picking
care.
Bianca and Jade over her. So do not give her any more love. But some of us have been there for the last 15 years. Okay. Some of us have been there.
Some of us have felt the glow. All right.
Some of us remember when she was wearing like sneakers and like workout gear on NXT. Okay. Some of us remember when she was known for being like a Lakers dancer or whatever she
A
was. She's
Funkadactyl.
no
What?
before that. Way before that.
Funk is on a roll.
No, she was
Funk is-
originally like the whole thing was like she was like a dancer in the NBA or
really?
something. Yeah, and because she was a part of NXT, like
Mhm.
the original era of NXT. So it is pretty cool to see how she's in this position now.
It is cool.
You have nothing to add?
No.
Okay.
No, I have nothing to really add from this because I love it. I don't. It's great. She should be F the people, F the fans.
Yeah.
They're so fickle now. To be a great heel and continue being a great heel, you need to be all about me, not the fans.
Well, and she did that even in the press conference. Like she got emotional about her journey. I mean, in her journey overall, but especially her journey since coming back to WWE.
Yeah.
But then she immediately was like, "But we don't care. Like, I don't care." And I'm like, "Girl, I loved that," because I was like, she wants to. She's gonna stay in character, and I was like, "Okay, that is so lost on us now. You know, people don't really stay in character anymore,
Mhm.
and I miss that because it's not like." You know, we're not young and naive and honestly believe that these people are these characters, but that is an aspect of the business that is fun because it is so different from any other industry. So I did appreciate that. You know, she kind of was like, all right, I'm going to get my real feelings out because I'm allowed to do that in this space. However, I'm not going to let you forget what I'm doing. So that was exciting. But as she was out there gloating, of course, Rhea comes out, Io comes out, and of course I spelled Naomi wrong in here. But that was when we have Mr. Adam Pearce come out, and he let us know that they will be having a triple threat rematch at SummerSlam for the Women's World Championship between these three ladies. And although I guess I'm not like super thrilled about another triple threat. I am excited. I think this could be a banger match, and I honestly have no idea what could happen. I mean, I assume Naomi's going to keep the title, but these three women are going to kill it. That's all I care about, and I'm excited that this match is going to happen because it's going to be so good.
To me, this feels like it would be bigger if we didn't just have a women's triple threat match for the championship at WrestleMania, and because Naomi just got done, or seems like she's done for now, with her feuding with Jade and Bianca.
Thank God.
She's on Raw, new start. So I'm for it in that regard, and I'm hopeful that we can still continue this. Rhea is not pinned Io, however that ends up, it gets me excited for the women's world title at SummerSlam, where I wasn't excited about it a week ago.
Well, and Naomi being on Raw is not something that I think that we even considered the show needing, because SmackDown is so packed and Raw is getting packed now with the girls that they have, but they didn't have a real solid heel other than Becky. And even Becky is kind of like, it depends on the crowd, Correct, and I mean, the same can be said about Naomi, but the way that they are interacting with baby faces, it's very clear, obviously, that Naomi is not liked, right? But I don't know. I love her being on Raw. I do think that there's more talent from SmackDown that should be on Raw. There definitely needs to be a draft or something soon because this is going to refresh the women's division on Raw so much.
Absolutely still needs to be a draft. There
Yeah,
needs to be a draft soon.
That's another thing that I don't really understand why they didn't do that this year. Like why I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, some people were joking about how this week's Raw was kind of like an Evolution Part 3 because it was so heavy with the women's matches because I think there was only 4 matches on the show and 3 of them were women. But it made sense. And part of it was because the main event was like 45 minutes. So
that's why it kind of evened out. You had 5 men's matches in one span.
Yeah.
So I could,
Yeah. So we got Roxanne and Raquel who retained, thankfully, at Evolution, and that was a killer match too. The women's tag match was so much better than I thought it was going to be because those types of matches can be so messy, so good.
No, there was there was a lot to build on with that match. You had the standout to me, Charlotte and Alexa. Like, dude, there's something like now I'm more than interested in them as a tag team. You have Zaruka. Zaruka having trouble in paradise after Zarya hit Sol Ruka with the spear because Charlotte Flair made the save to Alexa Bliss. Very uncharacteristic of Charlotte Flair. And to top it all off, you have Judgment Day retaining. You know, just like that match, like, yes, the triple threat match was awesome. It said it was going to be in more, but this match really stuck out to me over the weekend.
And like I said, these kind of matches can be iffy, you know, because like when there's 4 or 5 teams or whatever battling it out, like it can be either really good or it can feel very like messy. Like I don't know how else to describe it because there's just so much going on or there's so much to pay attention to. But I felt like this flowed pretty well and it wasn't hard to watch, you know, or hard to follow. So that was exciting. But from that match, that's why we see Roxanne and Raquel taking on the Kabuki Warriors. And Finn was like, hey, let's get them some help. And of course, he nominates Dom Dom, who helped them retain. And I don't know. I kind of have a theory about what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Because Dom Dom still seems a little bit hesitant to be fully engrossed in this Roxanne and Judgment Day thing. Yeah. Obviously his Intercontinental title run has been underwhelming because he got injured. And we're going to talk about the beef with AJ Styles, obviously. But what do you think about whenever that can happen, AJ maybe beating Dom for the IC title? Then that makes Dom the only person in Judgment Day that does not have gold. And that is kind of his way of getting pushed out. And that is how they can kind of make him and Liv into a babyface because ultimately he chooses Liv over Judgment Day.
I don't hate that.
I felt like that could be an organic way of getting him over as a babyface. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's like a slow burn where it's like they're upset with him that he lost the title because like, hey, we're all supposed to have gold. And then it's like, but then they're like, oh, you know, manipulating him because that's what Finn is doing. And then it slowly gets to the point where it's like Dom knows what they're trying to do and they kind of like kick him out. And maybe that's when Liv returns. I don't know. that was something that came to my mind because I was like, I want Dom and Liv to stay together. So
they're perfect. They are really good, but wrestling. Nothing lasts forever in wrestling.
Yeah, I really want that. I love that. Them together. And Raquel would turn on Liv too. A tale as old as time. Because she's gonna choose Roxy.
Yeah, she's the hot new toy.
Oh, and we're not getting Demon Finn Balor. I don't want Demon Finn Balor.
No, he's dead.
Vince ruined him, so I don't want it.
He's dead.
Unfortunately. But I do want Dom and Liv to stay together, babyface or heel. I want that. So however we can get that, I don't care. But anyway, Moving on to obviously the biggest heartbreak, I would say, from the weekend is Seth Rollins' injury against LA Knight. Obviously, it was not at the hands of LA Knight, but the match had to, the match had to abruptly end. Allegedly, had to change the ending. So Seth was not on Raw, but he was seen at Evolution with a knee brace and crutches. There's a lot of debate over the legitimacy of his injury. I don't want to get into that. We're gonna believe what we're being told, and that is that he's injured, because I don't want to debate it. And of course, Paul Heyman was asked about it because the injury did not look good. It looks like it clearly was a knee injury, and because he is because he is the Money in the Bank winner, people are like, "Uh-oh, what does that mean?" But Paul was like, first of all, he has until next June to cash in, and obviously he'll be back by then, or at least that's what he's saying. But he's definitely not interested in talking about it, and I think that's only furthering people's conspiracy theories that he is not actually injured. So I get what they're trying to do, but it doesn't settle the chatter, which is kind of annoying.
It is annoying because we want to get an answer now. And it's like, all right, just tell us, like, you tell us everything at this point. I'm on the boat that I don't want to hear about the injury. You know what I mean? Like, we know it's bad. We all saw it. All right. They basically threw the X up without throwing the X up on Saturday. I am going to live in kayfabe with this.
Yeah.
In the sense that Paul Heyman told us that Seth Rollins has the Money in the Bank contract until next June.
Mm-hmm.
So until it gets around that time, then he doesn't need to be a priority, which is the case. If it was anyone else and it was just Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, yeah, then all right, I'm going to be a little mad and want to know more.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have this dynamic with Braun Breaker, and the whole, basically the story last night for the men was that Braun Breaker was going to go into this match, conquer everybody, and walk into SummerSlam as champion. And I was for that. But as of now, like with other things that happen, I'm fine with not only Braun Breaker's opponent, alleged opponent for SummerSlam, but I'm also fine with not needing to hear about Seth Rollins right now.
It's just the timing is so bad,
Sucks.
you know?
Sucks. It's
and
awful.
That's the part that makes me not convinced that it's fake. You know what I mean? Because it's like the timing of a fake injury makes zero sense. Like there's no benefit to anybody in this scenario, So I think it's fine if we just if they don't talk about it. Jackson asks, how would you feel about this just for him cashing in on Punk? I hate it because I don't want to see Seth versus Punk anymore. I'm not interested in it right now. I'm just not. I also, again, I hate that they would potentially have him fake an injury at this point because it doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't know. I'm checked out of Seth versus Punk because I really think that they screwed up by having that match happen at the Netflix premiere. I think that is something that they could have built and built and built. And because they were really trying hard to jam pack the Netflix premiere with these big matches, which I totally understand, this felt like a match that they should have sat on longer instead of having it on a regular episode of Raw. I think that could have been like a headliner at Mania, and they wasted it. So at this point, I'm just not interested. I want to see Punk do something else. I want to see Seth do something else. And if he's going to cash in, I'm still all in on him cashing in on Cody or Cena. I want to be swerved in that way. No one is expecting him to cash in on the SmackDown brand. I want to be. Same thing with Naomi. No one thought Naomi was going to cash in on Raw. So
no one. We didn't say it on here.
No, definitely not. I think that would be sick. I would be interested in that. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to we got a very interesting match. Bailey.
This
It was really great. Bailey versus Lyra Valkyria in a 2 out of 3 falls match to become the number 1 contender to face Becky for the IC title at SummerSlam. And first of all, I love that it had this stipulation because we have not seen this very often in the women's division. And Bailey always happens to be a part of these kinds of matches, okay, which I love. I am here for this for her. This match was great. You knew it was going to be great. Bailey got the first fall fairly quickly, and you always know how this type of match goes, so they tied it up. And then Lyra will now face Becky at SummerSlam, and I think that was the right move because this whole feud began because of Becky turning on Lyra. Obviously, Becky took responsibility for the attack on Bailey that took her out of WrestleMania, so there's beef there. But the women's IC title there's no involvement of that between Bailey and Becky. The beef there is Bailey's like, why would you step in and take me out of WrestleMania, take me out of my WrestleMania moment, just for you to win the tag titles and then lose them 2 days later. So to me, it makes sense. The whole point, as we've talked about before, was to get Lyra to be super over. So these Becky Hogan, which first of all, I fucking love this bitch for wearing the red and yellow.
Oh my God, I was hoping you were going to bring that up.
Queen.
If you didn't, I was going to. The red and yellow after she cuts the promo post-match saying Becky Hogan. I'm not Becky
Hogan.
There
was a sign behind her at Evolution that said Becky Hogan.
Yeah.
Queen.
That's art. Like that's why I love wrestling. There's moments and shots like that. But the red and yellow, like, no, she knows what she's doing. That's why she's the GOAT, or one of the GOATs. She's beating up my GOAT right now, but we're gonna see some GOATs go at it at SummerSlam. I don't know. I saw a comment in here. What if Bailey gets involved in the match? I don't think that needs to be the case. I would like to see Bailey, if we're going to see her involved in the match in some capacity, maybe afterwards, take out whoever wins.
Lyra's going to win. Lyra's winning.
And it's just that face that she had after the match. She was not too happy about constantly losing the a title that she has not won yet.
Yeah. So. Well, and I think that the result of this is Lyra is going to win, in their biggest matchup, which is at SummerSlam. So the whole point of this feud was to get Lyra over, and it's worked. That's what we've said from the beginning. So people calling her Becky Hogan is actually fucking hilarious to me because, like, you don't understand what they're doing. You don't understand. Like, look at how much more people care about Lyra. They did not cheer for her this way since she's been on the main roster. And it'll feel so much more impressive for her to beat Becky at SummerSlam than it would have if she just beat her at Evolution. So.
And I thought the finish to Evolution was fantastic. The way Becky rolled up Bailey to win.
Loved it. Because, again, perfect. It wasn't a solid loss for either of them, because it was, again, like a roll up. And I get it. People don't love roll ups, and I typically don't either. But given the context of what this feud and match has been, it made sense to me. So, and it works to be Becky in, the heel in the whole scenario. Like, yeah, she does a roll up, which pisses you off. Like,
if you're pissed off, she did her job.
Yeah. Becky is iconic. Okay. This is what I'm saying. Okay. I said this on Twitter and I posted it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and people are giving me hell for it. But, like, this is one reason why I think Becky is the GOAT, because first of all, she kills it in triple threat matches, which I think Humble Wrestling shared. She's so good in triple threat matches. And you can see how much she's evolved over the years. Like, she has different looks in, like, every single one of her some of the best matches that she's ever put on. She, like, looks different. She's a different character in every single one of them. But her in a Hell in a Cell match, if it would be anything similar to her match with Trish in the steel cage, give it to me. And so good for Lyra to beat her in a match like that. Hell yeah. That'd be great. Then we got the last women's match of the night, which was not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
It was.
You have stronger feelings, I assume, than I.
No, I mean, not really. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like shit on Nikki because you guys know if you watch the show enough, I am far from a Bella fan.
You can
But
look, but you can't touch.
This was just sad for me. I feel like, because we know that Chelsea Green has said from the beginning, despite being, I mean, much better in the ring than that era, she very much feels like she is a Divas era women's wrestler.
Yeah, exactly.
And so she's dreamt about fighting Nikki Bella. So like I felt for her in a way because Nikki's rusty. Like I don't think that she was ready to be in a one-on-one match just yet. Like I think that's why we've seen her in Rumbles and Battle Royals because she didn't have to consistently be doing something and have the cameras on her and everybody watching every single thing that she was doing. And so when she's going, doing a one-on-one match, it was like, oh, okay, you're not exactly ready yet.
Very slow. That was my only
also a lot of mess ups.
Yeah, there's some botches here or there. But the biggest takeaway for me was it was very slow.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watch a slow wrestling match, if it's with giants, that's the exception. But everywhere else, I tune out. I start to tune out because I feel like I just tune out. It's simple as that. I just tune out and I'm not as interested. And the problem with this was I was interested in this match. I actually would love to see Chelsea and Nikki feud for a little bit. It would be a perfect feud to get Nikki back into the business right now where it doesn't feel forced. She and Chelsea Green could make magic and not in the ring, but with the other theatrics that go into a pro wrestling feud. So I would love to continue to see that.
I think this is going to be what we see leading up to SummerSlam because the Secret Hervis beat up Nikki when the match was over and Stephanie Vaquer came to Nikki's aid. So it would seem as though we're going to see the Secret Hervis versus Nikki, Stephanie, and somebody else, which it definitely could be Brie, which okay, girl. But it seems like they're not finishing this, and I don't love it for Stephanie because I'm just like, all right, whatever. But Stephanie has nothing to do until Clash in Paris because like she teased that she's like, oh, I'm not going to tell you what champion I'm challenging, but the only one that really makes sense is challenging Naomi. It doesn't really make sense for her to go to SmackDown because then we know she's not winning. They're not going to have Julia and Stephanie Vaquer on SmackDown. That makes zero sense. And those champions are either going to be Jade or Tiffany, which, neither one are really a heel at this point. So this gives something for Stephanie to do. So like, I'm not going to complain about it. And it's just like a fun women's match, so
we just need some fun matches. Like
it
doesn't need to be all serious storytelling and feuds and hatred the whole show. It can be fun, Bravo-esque type of drama. We don't have that anymore. So I'm
I maybe if this is what the match is going to be at SummerSlam, maybe they can kind of like work together over the next couple weeks and just like I think more so I think it was just ring rust with Nikki. I think that's what it is. I honestly think she hasn't had to have a singles match in how many years? She's been in these battle royal styles matches, so it's like the emphasis wasn't on her, but you can't hide when it's a one-on-one match. So I think once she gets like a little bit more training in, it's not going to be a problem, like it'll be better. And this is, again, if this is going to be a 3-on-3 match, it's not going to again be as much of a problem because she's going to have other girls to come in and help make up for it. So I don't know, we'll see. I think Brie is the only one who really makes sense in this scenario, though, don't you? To be like the third one. I hate it, but it is what it is, Anyway, okay, moving on. I just wanted to touch on this. So, Daddy Dom obviously still has a doctor's note, and he reveals that AJ has been stalking him. So it hasn't just been these random moments of AJ just popping up. You know, the last time we saw him, he just appeared in the clubhouse. He was also around and was praying to God or whatever he was doing in the background.
That was so funny.
Mr. Allen, what are you doing? So they're definitely, so this is the thing that I love, right? Because I think that if a champion is injured, it sucks, and obviously they can't compete and whatever, and if it is an extensive injury, then yeah, they should take the title off them. That does not appear to be the case with Dom. That reportedly is not what it is. So I like that they still have him around, and they're playing off of the fact that he's injured and he can't compete, but someone is still like, I'm not going to let you forget.
It's great. It is.
Yeah. So I like that they're doing this with AJ, because then it's making you more interested in their eventual match, which you assume is going to happen at SummerSlam.
I just kept thinking the entire time when he was doing the praying of The Rock's promo that he cut on Billy Gunn after winning King of the Ring. Dear God, my name is Billy. I just won King of the Ring, but the problem is that people still think I absolutely suck. It's just like, it's all I can think of the entire time.
Yeah. I do think, I don't know, I think that we're probably going to see Dom lose, which sucks, right? Because I feel like it was, I don't know
if I'll lose.
We might not, maybe not the first time. But I do think that AJ deserves to have a title. He should have an IC title run. I think that would be good. They also, we have like one babyface champion. So,
currently,
yeah. Then we also learned that banger that we got a couple weeks ago between Rusev and Sheamus is going to happen again. I don't think they specified when, but Sheamus did let him know that, hey, everyone else hates you just like I do, and we are going to have another banger after banger after banger. So the beef between Rusev and Sheamus is not over. And although that I'm not exactly that interested in whatever this feud is, I will watch the match.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this match. It is just fucking meat.
Yeah.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
If you don't get excited for that, I can't help you. That's pro wrestling in a nutshell. These dudes are going to beat the ever living shit out of each other.
That's why I almost feel like it deserves a spot at SummerSlam. I think it's that good. Like, even if the feud isn't that deep, or people might not be like, oh, I really want to see what's going to happen next between Rusev and Sheamus, they're going to want to see the match.
Exactly.
So to me, that's enough to put it on a PLE. Not to mention, this is SummerSlam. It's 2 nights.
Yeah, you got to fill the card up.
Yeah.
You got to fill the card up somehow.
And I would rather them put solid matches on the card than, force other matches out just because, like, oh, well, we need to fill the card. No, can you at least fill the card with matches that people want to watch, or that is going to be incredible? Yeah. That's what I want. Like, again, I don't care about whatever's going on here, but I want to see the match again. That would be sick. Especially a stipulation tâ would be great.
I need a stipulation in the next one.
Yeah, but not a
PLA. No. It would be like a Donnybrook.
No, I don't even want that. Stop doing the stereotypical Irish shit. Just give me like a no disqualification or something.
Well, like, I want to see Sheamus whack Rusev around with a shillelagh or two.
He can use that in a no DQ.
You don't like the setup of the whiskey barrels and the bar and is you forget, Sarah. Sheamus is the bar.
I know. I just watched Mania. Was it a Mania with him and Cesaro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came out on the pirate ship.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I was like, Cesaro is the love of my life.
New Orleans. He had a tough weekend. God, Death Riders, tough weekend.
Cesaro. Ugh. Do you remember Antonio Cesaro?
Yes.
Do you remember Alexander Rusev?
I do.
Do you legitimately remember them?
Yeah, those are their names before Vince changed them.
I know.
And the vignettes and everything. Yes.
Yes. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I don't know that people remember how many wrestlers had to drop their first name. It's like when he tried to do it with Theory, and I was like, we're still doing this.
Yeah.
We're still
Like
doing
that
this.
was right when I got back into watching it full time in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Cesaro with Oksana.
Yes. I remember watching when Cesaro debuted, and I was also watching. I was at the show a week before Alberto Del Rio debuted, and I remember watching the screen, and they were like, he debuts next week, and I was like, thank God I won't fucking be here, because I was like so grossed out by him just from the vignettes.
He is kind of slimy.
He is gross. Yeah, I do think this will probably happen eventually. I can't imagine. I mean, they're gonna have him win the IC title at some point,
shocked.
but I think Mania would be the perfect place. All right, moving on to my king Gunther. He goes out there to brag about beating Goldberg, which I was super here for. And obviously the Gauntlet match that was coming after this was going to determine who his SummerSlam matchup opponent was going to be, and Paul Heyman was not interested. I have to tell you, I was so happy when Paul Heyman was like, my name is Paul Heyman, and Gunther's like, you know what? I don't actually fucking care what you're going to say, okay? And like the horror, the look of horror on Paul's face, I was like, this is the type of shit I want to see from Gunther, because he's so funny.
It's exactly
without trying.
That's how you get Gunther over, is allowing him to interrupt people like Paul Heyman. No one ever would think to interrupt Paul Heyman, but Gunther's like, no, I'm Gunther. Like, I am the ring general. You say this all the time. I don't need to hear your nonsense. Yeah, you don't need to hear from me. And then Braun Breaker steps in his way, like, nah, pal, you're not going anywhere.
He's like, and don't forget who gave you your second loss of all time. And it's like,
and then Paul Heyman proceeds to call Braun Breaker basically every name that he has had of somebody, of a client of his.
Yeah, the next big thing, the big dog. What was the other one?
It's his yard now.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, but you know what? But he didn't do one for Punk. He had two for Roman. Because Roman was the big dog, and
still feuding with Punk. I don't think you want to call him the best in the world, because then he gets back to.
I know, but how iconic would that have been?
It would have been iconic.
It would, if he said he's the next big thing. He's the best in the world. This is his yard, Paul.
If he wasn't a Steiner and didn't have to drop that line, we would have got something like that. But the Steiner line, I think, nailed it home.
I don't know. I would have loved that, because then it would have, like, I don't know, hit it home.
Yes.
I was kind of hoping we were going to get Braun versus Gunther, but Braun was the only heel in the match, and so you knew from the beginning that he was going to be the one that started to the end, because they weren't going to want like Punk versus Jay, you know? So you knew that he was just like the token heel in the match. It was the only reason. So that's why I was like, this motherfucker is not winning, and I was a little bummed about it, but we'll see that in the future. So
it's going to feed families.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so Gunther then was like, all right, well, the main event is starting, and so he went up into the 300-second section, and he gave us a couple memes, one of which is now my header photo on Twitter, because hello, if it was time to retire the Cena I was like, all right, it's Gunther now, looking bored as fuck in the 300 section. I was like, me.
He was not happy.
No, he was like, whatever.
He was like, this is beneath me.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. So Braun Breaker kicks us off in the Gauntlet match against Penta, and I think this is like the most recent Gauntlet match that I can remember where every single match was a legitimate match. There was like no quick Braun beats this dude to get to the next dude in the Gauntlet. It was literally like 10 minutes almost with every guy, which I was like, how is this dude standing at the end? Incredible.
He was hitting spears on people.
Oh gosh, he's
so Penta. Good. It was unbelievable.
So he takes out Penta, takes out LA Knight, takes out Jey Uso, who decided that we needed to have 2 pauses in the match to let him yeet.
That was crazy. I love Jey Uso, but to pause to get a yeet in the middle of it felt like too cool in the Attitude Era. Like, you're gonna dance and you're like, come on. Like,
but
do we really need you? Look flat
he's never gonna beat the allegations of being an entrance, and that's all he is. He's never beating it when you come out there and you're like, wait a second, everyone loves me when I do this, and he does it twice. Brother,
I was yeeting up a storm.
Of course you were. So was my nephew, because but CM Punk is his number 1 guy now. So he was very excited to see CM Punk versus Braun Breaker, and I had a feeling my pick from the beginning was that Punk was going to win, and we do see Punk win, and he will be going against Gunther at SummerSlam. I think that was probably the best person out of this group, if we're being honest. Like, if we're not going to get heel versus heel with Braun versus Gunther, it seems to me that it makes sense for it to be Punk. Like, that's what I've wanted. I wanted him to face more main event talent. I was ready to jump out a window if it was Jey Uso, so I'm just glad it wasn't. LA Knight is so entangled in the Seth stuff, and the rumor, I think it was PW Insider, that said Seth's injury didn't play any role in who Gunther's opponent was going to be. So I was like, all right, LA Knight's not winning it then. Like, they weren't just going to give it to him because Seth got out, So I don't know. CM Punk versus Gunther, I think, is going to be pretty solid. I'm actually kind of excited about it.
I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this match. I want to see Punk go at it with Gunther in a feud, not just in the ring, but how much can he pull Gunther out of him to really make him this vicious, evil ring general?
Yeah. Well, and I saw Bully Ray was saying that it was him and Dave were talking about how they're fine with Punk and Seth stuff like being on the back burner for now, because we've kind of seen enough of it recently. And Bully was saying that a big part of Gunther's character or presence in wrestling is like the psychology of wrestling, and he feels like Punk can match him in that area.
Absolutely,
so that is an exciting like underlying factor of what we could see between them over the next 2 weeks, because we haven't had that with Gunther since he's been on this championship run, certainly, but definitely not in the first one. So I think that's the thing, is like, we've seen that Punk can elevate guys to new levels. We just saw him do it with Cena. We saw him do it with Drew McIntyre. So I am excited to see how that dynamic is going to be.
Me too.
With Gunther.
I'm also interested in this.
Yeah, and it gives him a solid opponent, like I know that it's only like 2.5 weeks until SummerSlam, so I don't love it, but it's still 2 weeks, and this is something that doesn't have to end necessarily at SummerSlam.
No, doesn't have to.
No. And at the end of the day, like, I'm hoping that Gunther retains it, but I'm still just glad in general that he's facing somebody at the caliber of CM Punk, because that's what I wanted from his last title run. I just wanted him to face guys that no one questions, are they a main eventer or are they not? And no one has that with Punk, so that is exciting. Before we get to the end, I just want to see, because there's people saying Nathaniel says he's glad it wasn't Sara Uso versus Gunther again. Same. I would have gone on a long rant, because I don't think there's a single person on planet Earth that wanted to see Gunther versus Jey Uso again. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a Jey Uso fan, nobody wanted to see that.
I don't want to see. I want to see more. I want to see different people.
Yes.
I want to see new change.
Yes. That's the thing, is like, I don't think anyone wanted to see that. And that's coming from me that doesn't like Jey Uso. I get it, but I was just like, we need something fresh for all parties involved, because we've beaten this horse beyond death. Do I see Punk winning at SummerSlam? I don't know. I don't think so, only because I don't think that he necessarily needs the title right this second. But and I also feel like it would be I'm not saying that Gunther needs to have a super long title reign, because everybody's like, oh, well, if Gunther retains, like, he doesn't have to have a super long title reign. I'm not talking about him having a 1 year or 2 year long title reign, but I do think that it's silly to have him have a title reign, give it to Jey for like what, a little over a month, and then he only has it for like 3 months. Like, to me, I don't know. I want him to, if he's going to lose a title, I want him to lose it to somebody he has a legitimate feud with, and losing to a guy that you just started a feud with 2.5 weeks prior is not ideal to me.
Yeah. I want to see some more.
Yeah, I don't want it to, like, him losing to Jay, as much as I hated it, at least it was somebody he had somewhat of a history with, even if it had gone back to when he was IC champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like how it all went down. Like, it was like, all right, well, he's got this with him, whatever. I think it all hinges on if Seth is really injured, although I still want to see Seth cash in on Cena or Cody, because I think that is an interesting story over there. I don't want to see Seth be champion on Raw and then he's dealing with Punk again. Like, I'm not interested.
I want to see, yeah.
Plus, imagine Seth versus Roman, because technically Roman is still a SmackDown superstar.
Roman came back last night, Sarah.
So, okay,
bury the lead.
I have to tell you something. Do you remember? I swear I'm psychic, bro. Because remember when people were saying, oh, maybe Roman comes back at Saturday night's main event. I'm like, bro, he's not coming back at Saturday night's main event. Like, he's not. He's going to want to come back at a bigger show, right? I was like, dude's not going to show up in fucking Alabama to come back to a Raw. Dude showed up in fucking Alabama and returned on Raw. Like, how? What? I just picked some random ass state and was just like, all right, yeah, Alabama. This motherfucker came back in Alabama.
Hey, to prove you wrong.
Yeah, he did me dirty.
He did you pretty dirty.
So, yes, Roman Reigns is back 2.5 weeks before SummerSlam. Presumably only going to be back until after SummerSlam, a little bit afterwards, because the movie that him and Cody are a part of is supposed to be filming starting at the end of August. So I assume we're not going to get Roman back for much longer than a month. However, he did come back to help Jay and CM Punk. Now, the Jay thing, whatever, they seem to be kind of like on the same page.
It's family. Like, that's where I'm like,
yeah,
it's family. You're going to stick up. The Punk thing.
The Punk thing is interesting.
It's interesting because, Sarah, yes, he had his wise man taken from him by Punk, but it was a favor. It was because he helped him out at War Games. I scratch your back, now you scratch mine. And Punk never was implicating that Paul was going to turn on Roman. He just, like, for him, he just wanted Paul to help him win at the whatever. Now, Paul turning on both of them for Seth, they're both of their mortal enemy. I like that dynamic. Like, that feels like something that Roman can work with and keeps him relevant in the main event scene without having a title or Ulafala.
I think it also kind of, now that I think about it, I still don't love it just because it was like, okay, it's kind of random. But I do think that they have some common ground that they can look back on, because we, obviously Punk was on their War Games team. So we can be like, okay, I can trust him at least a little bit, even if stuff went down after that or whatever, because obviously then we saw Paul kind of hanging around with Punk a little bit more than he was hanging around Roman. He still trusted him in that match. And they have a common enemy, which is Seth Rollins. So they might be able to like come together for that, because now it looks like we're definitely getting, Roman and Jay versus the Bronsons. Could also get a 3-on-3. I don't know what that 3-on-3 would be, because I don't know who would pair up with the Bronsons if Seth is really hurt. That doesn't make any sense. But we could see that happen, and then that also that reunites part of the bloodline, which people love to see. It also takes a lot of pressure off of Roman because it's a multi-man match. And I did not know that the movie, Jackson said, is being filmed in Australia. So yeah, they're not going to want Roman out here potentially injuring himself before, like, he's not the star of the movie, but you still don't want a guy that you cast in your movie to be injured. This is another reason why I feel like if Seth is not injured or he's going to cash in, at SummerSlam, he's going to cash in on Cody, who beat Cena, because Cody then has to go away to go film this movie. So that's why I'm saying it feels more plausible in that that way. But regardless, Roman showed up. He aura farmed. He hit a spear, and now we got Roman back for a few weeks.
I'm happy to see it. The OTC won.
Nope, excuse. Yeah, I hate that. And you just know, that they're just gearing up for him versus Cody to be QB1 and TC1.
Yeah.
But couldn't they but the thing is it needs to be just TC1, because when you're saying original tribal chief number 1,
yeah, it should be TC1. I agree.
But it's still you should have been going with that from the beginning. You shouldn't have introduced OTC, because everyone's going to chant OTC. No one's going to be saying TC1. No.
I like OTC a lot better.
Yeah, they should have just. I get it, but you could have been a little bit more creative if the eventual plan was to have the moniker of QB1 versus tribal chief. We could have done better.
We could have.
Yeah. The pop was insane. That is true. I don't get it, but I'm not going on that tangent right now.
It was.
I prefer Roman versus Braun singles at SummerSlam, but it's probably Roman and Jay versus Braun. Yeah, I just don't see them having him be in a singles match before filming a movie. That's the reason why I feel like Cody, they're gonna write him off TV or something. If Seth
something will happen. Something is gonna happen.
Yeah. But anyway, that was Raw.
That was Raw.
It was.
And a great Raw it was. We got a lot of wrestling coming at you this week. NXT is on right now. Announced main event, Fatal Attraction taking on Zaruka and Masha Slamovich, TNA Knockouts World Champion. That will be happening on the main event.
Question. Sarah, do you think Seth's injury caused him to return on Raw on Saturday night's main event? No, I don't think he was going to show up on Saturday night's main event, because they were trying to highlight Goldberg's retirement, and Roman returning would have taken the spotlight. I think this was probably the plan all along. Because they understand the circumstances that Roman is in, and they probably wanted him back for SummerSlam, because they are treating it as the summer's version of WrestleMania. Correct. And they probably do not want to go through one of the big 4 PLEs without him there. And maybe the plan of how he was coming back changed, but I kind of feel like no, he was probably going to return anyway. I just wanted to get that because it was a specific question. So
got it.
I hope you're wrong, Richard. I do not want him to The Rock to show up. Fuck The Rock. That bald fraud. I will forever quote CM Punk in that way.
Look at you.
Yeah, he's a
quoting
bald fraud.
CM Punk.
I just want to call everybody a bald fraud when I don't like them, even if they're not bald.
If they got a full mane of hair, you're still going to call them a bald fraud.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's so much dumber, but funnier.
It hits. It does hit for sure. And we got Dynamite Wednesday. We're back on Thursday for the Super Show, and Sara Slammiversary is on Saturday. I would like to tune into it either that night or the next day. We will find out. But until Thursday, thank you for tuning into this edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by No Nights Off. Follow us, or hold on, back up. You can't follow us without subscribing here first. So hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we post. Go check out our TikTok No Nights Off show. Over 1,000 views there, or live subscribers, there. And follow us on our own personal social media accounts. Sara only has Twitter at SMarshXO, and I am Patty Pitts with D's, 2 D's, on all social medias. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you next time.